And this is just an example of some of the displays that are out here. It's very hands-on. They actually have a classroom as well. They have a lot of live animals, most of them reptiles and amphibians, but there's quite a selection back there. Right now there's a school class in there, so we can't really go back there, but this is their observation area that goes right out the front. It's part of the wetland that's been kind of sectioned off, sort of, away from the rest of the wetlands. They offer quite a few classes throughout the year, most of them on identifying birds and insects and butterflies, but they also have a lot of other classes that they offer. I know at one point in time I came out here and took a kind of a survival class put on by Peter Kummerfeld. They have a really nice gift shop that's full of some very interesting books and some camera prints and things like that from one of our physician that I used to work with, Dr. Dan Witt. And they have a lot of his wildlife photography in print form out here. So they have a half-mile trail, so we're going to go check that out, and then I'll take you out to the bottoms. This here is an area right in front of the building where they've planted a lot of the local wild plants of Kansas. The nice thing about this area is everything's labeled. And I've been out here quite a few times, not only just to identify the plant when I was looking at something out on a hike or whatever, but it allows me to come out throughout the year and identify these plants in their different seasons. This is the nature trail that they have just off to the side of the building. It's paved, so it's really easy to walk and well maintained. It's intended for school-age kids, so just about anybody could negotiate this trail. Over here is a picnic area. The trail itself is about a half a mile long, if I remember right. And it has little informational placards along the way, kind of explaining different things. Has quite a bit of the plant life that's specifically laid out along the trail, and there are some points up here where they've taken in the concrete and made tracks for some of the animals that you might see out here. Actually, here's an example of it coming up. So they've laid out all these tracks in the concrete. And this is a little skirt off of the trail. This has got to be relatively new because I don't remember this. And I think I was probably just out here 6 months ago. But it looks to come off the trail and kind of step back into a classroom, an outdoor classroom area with some seating and a little stand where you could have an instructor out here. I'm assuming it's just to bring some of the kids out and talk about what they're seeing out here. Everything's really well labeled. A lot of the trees have placards on them so that you can identify them. A lot of the plant life is labeled as well. They also put a lot of removable signs out here that they change out throughout the year with different kind of educational purposes. We just had Halloween, so the concept behind all the educational purpose signs out here this time is vampires. So that one back there was just talking about ticks. It's about the third one I've seen. But it's just an example of how they kind of change things up for the kids so they can come out at different times and learn different things. Okay, well, I'm coming around to the end of this trail. So I'll drive out to the wetlands area actually, and maybe shoot a couple pictures or short video of out there. But they offer guided tours in a van or a bus. They also have some observation platforms out there for bird watching. And the Cheyenne Bottoms area is along the central fly lane. So a couple times a year we get quite a bit of migratory birds coming through here. And it's a neat place to just come out and kind of spend the afternoon and watch. And like I said, they've got this little trail. It's short and well kept, but it's a fun place to bring the kids. I've had my kids out here quite a bit and they really enjoy it. The programs they put on, a lot of them are geared towards kids, but they also do some adult programs. I've been out here for their night sky program as well. And a couple times a year they count monarchs and they try to identify a bunch of birds. So it's a neat little place here in Barton County. We'll turn you back on when we get out to the wetlands area. This is an example of one of the pools. And I don't remember exactly how many of them are out here, but there's like 4 or 5 different large pools. And the water's not very deep. But on this side, it's deep enough, obviously, that there's not a lot of marshy overgrowth. And it's intended to be more of like an auto tour where you drive through. Although I haven't seen anywhere where it says you couldn't walk through here if you wanted to. It's a very large area. And if we come over here to the other side of the road, this is an example of what the other half of it looks like. And this is the marshy area. Where it just has a lot more overgrowth. Kind of off there in the background you can see the Wetland Education Center where we started off. This is one of the observation areas. And they have a couple of these towers set up so that you can walk up and kind of look out over the bottoms. During some of the big migrations, especially with the ducks, we have a lot of American eagles that end up showing up out here. So it's a good place to come out and watch them. And right there you can kind of see that's some of the water outlet areas. That's how they control the water. Because during the drought we had a few years ago, a lot of this area dried up. So they were able to keep at least one of the pools full at all times. Well, that about wraps up Cheyenne Bottoms out here north of Great Bend, Kansas. If you're out here and you enjoy watching birds or really any wildlife, there's quite a bit of wildlife that shows up out here. It's a good place to spend the afternoon, and it's kid friendly. Like I said, they've got a nice little short trail, a little education center with a lot of hands-on stuff for kids, and then just coming out and riding around the bottoms, you can usually spend an entire day or at least afternoon out here. So hope you all enjoy it, and catch you at the next one.